What's up, everyone? This is Matt Mrozek, and this will be just a little show and tell on Spidey here that I've been working on. Eric Sosa Eric Sosa Spidey. I kind of picked him up the other day as a mental break from all the mech stuff I've been doing lately, and so sorry, I'm really close. I can't zoom out anymore. As you can see, I got the blue and the red done, and the webs. The webbing took me forever. That took me a good portion of yesterday just to get the webbing done. Just because there's a lot of it and to get it all really black. But what this video is really going to be is kind of a Spidey eyes tutorial. So give me 1 second to put him down. This will be, I guess, a tutorial and an experiment at the same time. So he's got two masked heads, and the only difference are the eyes. So here he's got like smaller eyes. And here he's got bigger eyes. You can see that just the difference. You can see all my shading really, really good in these, man. The red turned out way better than I could have hoped. It looks amazing. In person, it's unreal, guys. It looks really, really freaking good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you first how to mask. I get a lot of questions on masking. I'm not gonna use silly putty. I know I'll get a lot of comments after I post this video. Why didn't you use silly putty? Silly putty is good for some things, other things is not so good. When I need a hard edge, I don't use silly putty. I need a hard edge. So pretty simple. I've done this tutorial before, but you know, for anyone new, I just had like 10, 15 friend requests in the past few hours after posting pictures of Spidey. So let me show you how I mask real quick, and it's relatively simple. Again, I say this all the time. A lot of things in modeling are not necessarily hard, just time consuming. Like the spider webs, they weren't really hard. It just took me a long time. I'm going to get myself a skewer here that I use for parts. I'm just going to kind of sharpen the edge just a little bit, but at the same time, I'm going to blunt that edge. I don't want it real sharp. Get yourself some Tamiya tape. Tamiya is the best you can use for masking. These were painted and sprayed with, I'm starting to use the Krylon Matte spray, and I really like it. It's not dead flat, but it gives you a nice slight sheen to your piece. It looks really, really good. I'm really digging it, especially for figures. So that's what you're seeing here is the Krylon Matte. 1 second. Sorry about that. My dog was whining and I need to tell someone to go let her in. So take yourself a piece of tape, and I'm just gonna put it real loose on the outside of the eye. Just like that. So it's real loose right now. And the reason I do that is because I'm gonna take my skewer here and I'm gonna push it. You don't want it taut yet. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna push it right into the edge here of the eye. Just like this. And just follow the pattern around. If it was tight, I wouldn't be able to push it in where I needed to. And if my skewer was really sharp, I'd be poking holes in the tape, which you don't want. So I'm gonna go in there and push it in. Make sure I'm right in the groove and just let that tape loose and do its thing. If you fight the tape, you're going to be struggling. Just kind of let it do its thing. Just like that. And this has had plenty of time to dry and cure, so my skewer just broke. Get yourself a brand new blade. I always tell people to use the X-Life X-Acto blades. You want X-Life right there. Not that they're sharper, but they will last longer than your normal X-Acto blade, and you can tell it's an X-Life. It's got that blue tint to it. And now I'm going to take my blade, and you're just going to go real carefully, and you don't want to put any pressure on it. Let the blade do the work. A lot of people hate doing this because you're cutting right onto the part, but if you're careful, you just go slow, let the blade do the work, you'll be fine. That's why it's important to have a new blade. If you start trying to put pressure on it, you're going to slip, and then you'll be hurting. Then you have to go in and touch up your nice paint job, which I have done on occasion. As I tell people all the time, I screw up all the time. I spend a lot of time fixing my mess ups. And then we'll just pull that tape off, like so. And then we're gonna go back in. Since that skewer broke, I'm gonna get another one. And actually, let me get a bigger one. Here we go. This will work. And I'm going to go back in and just kind of re-seal that edge, because it kind of wants to pull up just a little bit as you pull that tape up. So I'm just going to do one eye, then I'll pause and come back and then show you the next step, which is we're going to lay down a coat of black. Got a little spot here where didn't quite get all the tape where I wanted. So it's funny. So this guy is for sale, by the way. He'll be for sale when I'm done. I have basically 3 guys that are kind of fighting over it or wanting it really bad. I've had one person ask if he could put a deposit down on it, but I'm going to wait till I'm done because I don't want to commit anyone to anything until they see the final product, since I'm painting this the way I want to paint it and not necessarily the way someone else would paint it. But so that's why. And also the caveat to me selling this is that I get to keep it until July of next year, so I can take it to Wonderfest and my local model shows that I attend. So that's like the one stipulation I have when this guy sells. Okay, so let me do the other part of the eye. And so you know, I'm posting a lot of stuff in my work in progress is on a lot of modeling, or not modeling, the statue pages. And it's interesting because when you paint, when you show a step or where you are in the process of one of these, you get a ton of questions like he was really shiny the other day. It's like, oh, that looks that looks really shiny. That looks really bad. It's like, well, yeah, you're just seeing this step of the process. So the guys that don't know the process, you know, clients that don't know the painting process, I'll get a lot of comments like, oh, are you going to fix that? Are you going to do this? Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get there. You're just seeing one of the steps. So it's interesting because you have to explain a lot of times that this is not the final result. This is just where it is at this moment. So I anticipate I'll get a lot of those comments and questions as I do all these commissions I have lined up. It's just kind of educating people who aren't used to seeing the process. Okay, so I'm just going real careful. I have to change this blade. You can tell that you need a new blade if you're having to actually push down on the blade. Like right now I'm feeling I have to put a little pressure on it to cut, which tells me I need to change the blade. When I mask, I go through blades really a lot of blades. Blades are cheap in the end when you're working on this stuff. What's not cheap is your time to have to go back and fix something. And yes, I do have like 6 projects going on at one time right now. I wouldn't be a real modeler if I wasn't working on like 6 things at once. Someone said, oh, you'll have this guy done like in a week. It's like, no, he's got a long way to go. The base will be quite a bit of work. I really like a lot of people don't like the base that this comes with, or they don't like the big part of the base, like the building part. I like that with all the brick and everything. And I get it that a lot of guys don't like it because it takes up a lot of space, but I think it really adds to the piece. Okay. So this is my first Spider-Man I've ever done. And so far I'm really happy with how he's looking. Okay. And I'll have to go back in and see where this tape is kind of going down there. I'll have to add a little bit of piece. That's kind of where like his nose is. So I can't get the tape. I'll have to get a little tiny extra piece of tape to go down in there to fill that spot. Like I said, I'm just gonna do one eye on camera because as you can see, this is a slow process, as most things are in modeling. You really don't do anything fast if you want to get good results. It's all about taking your time and trying not to mess up. But like I said, I mess up all the time. I'm getting better at fixing my mess ups. Yeah, I need a new blade. It's not cutting the tape all the way, so I'm going to change blades too after this eye. Alright, so that's kind of how you mask. So I'm going to pause and I'll come back later when I'm done with the rest. Alright, so now we're in the spray booth and I've got some Mr. Color GX Black in my airbrush. Got both heads masked off, both eyes, as you can see there. On that one and on this guy. So now I'm going to base coat these in black real quick. It's going to be a little, I'm going to turn my fan on. Around the edges. That's one. Here's the second head. Oops, let me put a little more paint in my brush. I like to put it on nice and wet like that. It's nice and smooth. For everyone that's asking, I sprayed just about everything at 20 psi. And this Mr. Color GX is thin. It's actually a little thick on the thick side right now, but typically within it, 1 part paint to 2 parts thinner. But okay, so those are base coated. We're gonna let that dry for probably 30 or 45 minutes for the next step, because this has to be dry to the touch to do the next step. So we'll come back and show you guys that when these have time to dry for a little while. All right, so we're back in the spray booth again, and black paint's dry for about 30 minutes, which is enough time to do the next step. And this is the experiment part for me. So I wanted to give Spidey eyes that honeycomb look that you see sometimes. So basically I've got some tulle. This is actually Christmas ribbon, which is appropriate because we're in the middle of decorating for Christmas. And I'm going to tape it over the head. I'm going to show this to you once I'm done. Just going to tape it over these eyes. I'm going to make it relatively tight. So I want the tool pretty much on the eyes, relatively tight. If it's loose, what would happen is that when I spray the next color, it would go underneath the tool, and I don't want it to really go underneath the tool. I want a kind of a soft honeycomb look to it. So I'm going to wrap it pretty taut. I had it on there just a second ago and it was just perfect. One second. So do that. And then if I tape it down here, I'm going to do one more little piece of tape. Sorry, I'm off camera. I do a lot of things off camera because sometimes it's hard to do it while you're on camera. But I'll show you two here in just a second. It may just hold it. So here we have the tool on. And you can see it's pretty tight right against the eye there. Yeah, I'll do one side and then I'll do the other. So in my airbrush right now I have Mr. Color GX White. These are lacquer paints. I don't even need to turn my air booth on for this because I'm not going to be putting a lot of paint on. So I'm going to be getting in pretty tight and I'm going to be doing a little bit of shading on this. So what's going to happen is I'm going to build a highlight in the middle. We'll see if this works. I can always go back and recoat the black if I need to. So I'm going to build up a highlight in the middle and let it fade kind of into the edges a little bit. Sorry, my phone's getting I'm getting a little what's called lens flare from the spray booth. There we go. That's why it's looking a little soft. So I'll try to do this on camera. Let's just start in the middle here, real light. You can, oh, so you can see I'm start there in the middle. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the edge. Nice and soft. So I'm leaving a little darkness around the edge there. I wanted to give this some shape. And let's see what we got. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this other side while I have it on here. I think I'm going to get the look I want. Same thing, I'm going to start in the middle. Turn on camera. Sorry, it's really hard to spray on camera and see what you're doing. Because the airbrush gets in the way of what you're doing. That's why I don't spray on camera a lot, because it's really hard to see what I'm doing while I'm getting some... I don't think my paint's quite thinned enough. Okay, I think they're both pretty similar. So let's take it off and see what we got. Oh. Okay. So for some reason I got a little black spot there in the middle of that one. What I think we're going to do now is I'm just going to kind of soften this a little bit. So I'm just coming back and I'm just kind of misting on some white. just to soften those lines a little bit. There we go. So now he's got Spidey eyes. And I'm going to soften him a little more. I don't want it quite so sharp. And there we go. Spidey eyes. So I'm going to do the other one. Same way. I think part of it is that the tool I have is just too big. Cut that down a little bit. I don't need that much. And then I can do the next step while I'm in here, because the next step is going to be, I'm actually going to make the eyes a little iridescent on these guys. So. Give me a second, sorry, I'm off camera again. Okay. So here's the other one. Same thing, we're going to start in the middle. Like that. Just like that. Take that off. And there you can see the pattern, and we're going to soften it up a little bit. So there we go. Now we got that kind of cool hexagon thing going on in the eyes. And I may do these over, for some reason I got a dark spot in the middle there, and I don't know why that is. It's really weird. See if I can get rid of it a little bit here without messing up my... Okay, I think that took care of it. Got one little speck of something in there I want to get rid of real quick. I think get rid of it. Maybe. Let's see if I can get rid of this little spot of dry spray. I may have to redo these from the beginning. I think I'm going to, because there's a few little things I'm seeing that I don't like, so I'll come back. All right, this one took me a few tries, but I finally got it. So I think it looks pretty cool. Just like that. So you can see I've got it kind of bright in the center, and it kind of fades off to the edges. So now what we're going to do now is, there's another experiment. I've got this Mr. Crystal Color. Never tried this before. This is sapphire blue. This should give it, the eyes, just a little bit of blue sparkle. And I don't want them like super sparkly. I want them to have a little bit of a iridescent look to them. So we're going to spray over the white with this. And then we'll see what it looks like. So let me clean up my airbrush real quick. I turn on the air compressor to clean up that white pretty good. Okay. And so I've never used this before, see how it looks. I know a lot of guys that really like it, so I thought this would be a good kit to try it on. It's gonna mix, I don't need a whole lot. But if you can see it here, you can see how it's kind of got a pearlescent look to it, and that's what I want. And this will add just a little blueness to the eyes. I don't want a lot, just a little bit. I don't need a whole lot of this. Okay, so if you look at my cup, you can kind of see at the bottom there's that kind of blue look to it. So we're going to mist some of this on there and see what it does. If I don't like it, I can always redo it. Hold on, I'm making a mess. Okay, let's see what this does. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna turn my exhaust on. It's not showing up a lot right now, but once I clear coat this, those eyes are gonna have a nice shimmer to it, real subtle. Oh man, that's freaking cool. I get excited with new stuff that I haven't done before. This whole kit's new to me. I've never done a Spider-Man or anything, so. I have that showing up in camera. See it kind of blue iridescent right there? It's kind of shimmering. Pretty cool. It knocked the white down quite a bit, actually. It's okay. Okay. So you guys can see that. See it kind of, oh, look at it right there. Boom. You can see that shiny iridescence. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm done with that. I just want a little bit. I'm going to clean out my airbrush again. And we're going to spray clear on top of this and seal it in. And they'll be glossy. The white part will be glossy. Just the white part will be glossy. Once the clear coat dries on that, on the white part, I will mask that off and spray the edge black again, and then hit it with a matte finish. And then Spider-Man, except for the unmasked portrait, oh, he won't be done. I gotta do the spider on the chest. I gotta paint that black. Okay, clear up my bottles here. So I'm going to use my Mr. Color number 46 clear. This is kind of like one of my this or the GX clear is what I go to when I'm using Mr. Color clears. And I probably could have mixed in that sapphire. The sapphire, what this looks like, this crystal clear, it basically looks like if I was to add pigment powder to the clear coat. It's kind of like adding a pearl effect. Let me get a clean cup. That's not clean. That's clean. That. And I'm gonna make these eyes nice and the white part's nice and shiny. I don't have gloves on it right now. Usually I'm wearing gloves. So first I'm just gonna kind of mist on some clear, give it just kind of a tacky coat. Just like that. So the first thing of clear is just a real light misting, really. And then I only let it sit for a few seconds. Then I go in and I put it on nice and wet. And I'll let that sit for a few minutes and I'll come back and do another wet coat and it should be nice and slick. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. And then I can't do the next step till tomorrow, which is masking off the whites and then painting the black. I can do that in the morning. But that's how I did the kind of holographic pattern on the eyes. Pretty cool. I think it's gonna look good. Once I get the black on there, they're gonna pop really nice. Pretty neat. So that's what I'm gonna do for this video. I just want to show that process. The next step I said will be like letting that dry, masking off the whites, and then painting the outside black. But pretty cool. I'm excited to see how those look when they're done. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Alright, well, I thought I was going to end the video there, but I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off here on video. So I masked off the center of the eye, as you can see here, and I sprayed that Mr. Color GX Black again, and I'm just going to leave him kind of this semi-gloss look, I think. I don't know, this one's a little more matted. Actually, let me go spray these real quick with some of the matte spray. I thought I was going to leave it kind of like this, but I don't know. I like this one. I like the finish of this one. It's a little matter. This one's a little glossier. But I'm not digging the high gloss, so I'm going to come back. Okay, so I went and hit it with the Krylon Matte. And I think it's better that way in the end. So let's take the tape off and see what we got. Let me get my tweezers. I need my knife. And as you can tell, my workbench is a complete wreck again because I'm in full production mode on like, 4 or 5 projects as usual. So let's take this tape off. See, this will focus right here. I don't want autofocus. There we go. These should look pretty cool with that iridescent look against the red and everything. All right, so we can see that no lifting on the red. So the great thing about this Tamiya tape is that it's sticky enough to stick really well, but it doesn't leave, it really doesn't leave any residue. The only time it'll leave residue is if you try to mask on top of your paint too early. You will leave tracks in the paint from where the tape was. And sometimes you can fix it by just spraying like a top coat on top of it. Sometimes, I'm recording a video right now, buddy. Where are you going? My son is trying to talk to me. I was saying sometimes if you mask too early and you lift your tape up, you'll see residue, not only residue, but it'll like kind of leave track marks in your paint from where the tape was. Man, it looks so good. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I wish I would have discovered things like this a few years ago. Okay, so there we are with the black around his eyes. Now let's take the center off. And I gotta be real careful because I have to get a knife under there without scratching the paint. That's a delicate balance. So just get the edge. And just slowly peel that back. Whew. That's pretty cool looking. Again, just a little bit off camera, sorry. But I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. And when you peel tape off, you want to, I never pull straight up, I always pull at a really kind of severe angle. Less chance of your paint lifting. What? That's freaking cool. I don't care who you are. That's awesome. And I see a little touch up I can go in there and do right along the bottom edge there. It's minor. It's like, it's just me being really anal retentive, but there you go. Spidey head, Spidey eyes. Let's throw them on the body real quick. I'm doing a video right now. Give me a second? Everyone's trying to talk to me right now. All right, so it's gonna be a little shaky because that is cool, man. I love that iridescent look. You can see it right there when I move it around in the light, and you get that cool kind of web pattern going on in the eyes. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. My phone stopped recording for some reason. But yeah, really cool. So anyway, that's Spidey eyes. Focus. There we go. I think this is my favorite portrait of the three. I really like the eyes on this, the smaller eyes. Come on, just wanted to focus on the background of my workbench. But pretty cool. So another long video, but thanks for watching as always. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.